Hi, welcome to the Wired
and Rewired podcast, a podcast all about the hit series The Wire.
I'm Chris, and this is my 1000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
If you're new to the force or a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy. So today we are going to review episode 10, The Cost.
The Cost.
Did I say that with enough gravitas?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and as usual, we start by busting a recap. With Wallace in custody, McNulty and Daniels try to figure out what to do with him in the months before he testifies. Sydnor and Carver track down one of Barksdale's stash houses, and Prez shows off his gift for the paper trail. McNulty's estranged wife, Elena, takes desperate measures after learning that he had their kids follow Stringer Bell. Orlando, who always wanted to be in the game, finds himself playing with fire. The episode was written by David Simon. He called his own number for this one, and it was directed by Brad Anderson. All right, any initial thoughts before we begin? What?
I hated this episode.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to expand on that?
No. We'll just keep going. Okay. I'll just let myself slow burn to the end here.
Yeah, we just got to share. So we finished our last episode, and Ellie texts me. She's like, did Kima just die? And I was
so mad. I was no.
I mean, the thing is, too, that's one of the reasons why I am so excited. I feel like I'm really blessed that you are working with me on this, Ellie, is because that feeling, it's been 15 years since I've known that Kima was going to get into this gunfight. So, okay, well, let's not delay any longer. So let's start with the epigraph and we'll get started.
Kima says the epigraph.
Yes.
And then he dropped the bracelets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, well, let's get started.
Okay. Here we go. Damn it.
I have all these thoughts,
but it's just my favorite character. My favorite character. So it's hard. This was a really hard one for me. And as I go through it, I mean, my second watch, even I was like, they totally set it up, and I just didn't even see it coming.
Yeah,
I totally didn't see it coming. But on my rewatch, I was like, oh my God, yeah, okay.
It did have a little bit of that the scene in the bar. I don't know if you were going to cover that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hang on. Let's hold on to that, and then we'll get to that. Okay. All right. So let's go.
Well, let's just start how we.
Ellie's like just her hair is on fire. It's awesome. Okay. Go.
We open up with Bub sitting on a park bench, and he is watching life unaltered, really. Mm-hmm. He is kind of marveling at children and mothers and pets and blue skies and the leaves, and it's really kind of lovely. He kind of takes a deep breath. He marvels at his own clean clothing he's wearing, and then he kind of watches a deal go down.
Yeah.
Somebody walking by him and saying, "What's up, Bubs?" And so it was just a very interesting juxtaposition to start with, just to see, that life right there, that temptation is always right there for him. Mm-hmm. He could make it happen, but also, just this appreciation that he seems to be having for life at this point. Mm-hmm. So really lovely. And then we go over to Orlando's, and we are kind of picking up on what happened last time. We're being reminded. Weebay's apologizing to Avon and telling Stringer, his earlier advice to parlay from before was good advice. Mm-hmm. And so they say, let's put out the word that we are ready to talk with Omar. Mm-hmm. And, they also talk about being followed by the police after the ball game last time, and what that might have been about and how they want to play it. What are they going to use to try to get Avon? What could they have on him? And, where were we going to take him? Yeah. I was going to take him to the barbershop.
Yeah, I love that line.
That was great. And Stringer makes new rules for Avon at this point. So he's not going to, Avon's on no more money runs. He's going to take his pager. He's going to get him a New York supply number only. And he says, we got to build a wall around you, B.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, I predicted that this would happen last time, that he would be, being even harder to get a hold of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that I had an interesting, I don't know what one thought that was like, well, why would Stringer be? I didn't like they're so close in the hierarchy of the organization. It didn't quite make any sense to me that they would need to build a wall around Avon and not Stringer. So I mean, I know he's his right hand man, but it just feels like, and he would not betray Avon.
Right.
But it also feels a little strange to me that losing Stringer is not a small thing.
Right.
So putting him at risk feels a little bit, but maybe that's just the way that it has to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is interesting to me just how, I don't know, how protective Stringer becomes of Avon in this moment. And I mean, he knows who's buttering his bread. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the other interesting component, though, is that Stringer told Avon twice that we should just let this go.
Right.
And it wasn't until Avon almost got shot that he finally was like, you know what, maybe Stringer has a point here.
You probably were thinking some good thoughts.
So it's interesting to see the dynamic finally kind of exposed in that way. It's like he's not Avon's. They act like they're partners, but they're clearly not. And Avon's just going to listen to himself really.
Right.
When his own ass is on the line is when he's gonna make some changes.
Right.
So.
Next up, we move to Phelan.
Yeah.
Phelan's office.
Yeah.
Phelan's office with Jimmy and Rhonda, and they are, making the request for another phone tap because they have moved payphones, another 30 days. And Phelan he's grumpy.
Yeah.
He's grumpy as all get out.
Mm-hmm.
And as they leave, we find out, Rhonda sharing that he is going to have to run again. So he has filled an unexpired term, I think is what it is. And he hasn't been selected to be on the ticket for the next run.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting. I mean, that's McNulty's in.
Yeah.
They, Perlman kind of indicates that it is because of his association with the likes of McNulty that he's not on the ticket. So I don't know. That was kind of interesting. I'll be very curious to see how that plays out in like future episodes or seasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is definitely something that is much more subtle to understand is that, so Rhonda just speculates that consorting with McNulty is the cost. Yeah. And I guess I'll just bring it up here that this is it's called The Cost, and I think we're seeing a lot of the cost being paid out in this, and so Phelan who has been at times like super gung ho and whatever else. Yeah. I mean, maybe he's not on the ticket because he's a sexual. He's got all his sexual improprieties.
Yeah, yeah, that could be.
I'm sure that's probably the reason. That could be as much. In any case, but the point is that we're seeing a lot of the costs, and for Phelan, he is now under the gun because it might cost him his job to do this, be doing this case. So anyway,
okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's move on to Donette's back.
Yep.
I love Donnette, but she's pretty annoying in this one.
I was going to say.
Even I have to say, I was like, damn, girl.
Yeah.
So she's at D's with their baby, and she is going on and on about everything that she's going to need him to buy and that they're going to need to do to make the place suitable for them to live together as a family, which, I mean, I'm just curious how did that conversation come up even before?
Yeah.
Was that after Chardine was like, F you, or was that going to happen all along?
Yeah.
Anyways, he is just, not in the mood. He goes to the fridge and he pulls a truck out of the fridge and he grabs orange juice instead of drinking it. He puts it on his head like he's got a headache, and he's just had it, and he takes off. Yeah. So we know that he is still, feeling for Chardine and missing her a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think that's, I'm just going to keep hitting this, I guess. Like, I just wrote this down, like the him, D'Angelo being back with Donette is the cost of his transgression with rolling Keisha up in a dumpster, in a rug and throwing it away.
Everybody's getting theirs now.
Yeah. So, now he's feeling it. And of course, then you get this conflict in front of the club, and he is definitely hurting from the fact that she broke it off with him.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, well, we're going to head back to the dungeon, as I love to call it. We got McNulty, Carver, Freeman, and Sidner, and they are listening to the tap. And Freeman has picked up the pattern that is necessary to figure out where the main stash house may be located.
When the supply gets low, they page this mope who always calls back from a payphone way the fuck out in Northwest. Same phone, same pattern.
So y'all think that he's taking the re-up order and that the stash is somewhere near the Mondo Mart, right?
You are on it, Detective Sidney.
Okay, so what do you do with this?
What do we do?
We're gonna be sitting on that payphone in Pimlico all day and all night waiting on Mr. Mondo Mart.
Herc, too.
Herc's out this whole week, in-service training.
That's too bad. So instead of 3 8-hour shifts, you two are gonna have to pull 12 hours.
Just fucking kill me now.
So we find out it is somewhere near the Mondo Mart.
Yep.
I don't know. I just love the name of that.
Yeah.
The Mondo Mart. And so what does this mean? This means we're going to have 12-hour surveillance shifts for Carver and Sidney. Herc is not in this episode at all. So
No.
these guys got the shaft. They are doing longer surveillance shifts out at the Mondo Mart. Kima says she's going to go look for Omar, and McNulty is going to hit up Wallace. So now we know, like, they are in on this. They from the tap, they know about this kid Wallace, who is broken up about what's happening, and they know that he's a good potential, inside view on things. Yeah. So Orlando, oh God, I really thought Orlando learned his lesson.
Yeah.
Apparently Avon's beatdown did not deter him, because he rolls up on another car, and he's got a nice ride.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
it does look so like pimpin', and
Yeah.
he's playing some, I don't know, like some cool old Motown or something in there. And he is coming up, he goes into this other guy's car, and he is going to buy 4 ounces of rock. The other guy's like, it's hardly worth it for that.
Yeah.
He's like, it might make it worth your while the next time if this is good. And he gives him the money, and the guy gives him the bag, and he looks in the bag, and you can see something's wrong from his face.
Yep.
And then the guy laughs, and something is up. I didn't quite know what was going on at this point, but I mean, I knew that something was bad for Orlando.
Yeah. I mean, I assume it's just, paper, whatever, just some fake, clearly fake stuff. And, then he looks up and he's like, oh crap. And I think he probably looked at it and said, these guys are going to rob me.
Yeah.
But instead it's even worse than that for him. So,
yes.
Yeah. And I'll just stop here. I don't know what kind of car Orlando's driving, but the song that's playing is actually this song was the inspiration for why I wanted to keep track of all the songs, because the song is called The Power of the Dollar by Kool and the Gang.
Oh.
So, which I just love. I love that symbolism.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So it's a great.
Yeah.
But
everything. There's some really great songs in here. So,
yeah, that really are.
Yeah,
there really are.
there
So
are.
yeah. It is surprising because last episode, I think the only time we saw Orlando was at the very end.
Yeah.
And he seemed like he was no problem, like right back in the fold.
Yeah.
Okay, I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
So, but I think maybe as the symbolism of the song, like he's driving this old car, it's a beater kind of thing, and and he wants a new car or who knows what, and he's not getting it from Avon money. So
and I mean, it just goes to what we were saying before, like, just keep your thumb on people like that, and they will do whatever they can to get out from
truly
under that.
yeah. I mean, and even there's a lot we I think we talked about this last time, like he doesn't go to Avon and ask, hey, can I get a raise or whatever. We assume. But maybe he did. Maybe he's like, hey, I'm doing, and Avon might have been like, no, your job is to not be in jail, and that's all you get paid for.
Yep.
And you think, okay, well, I got to do something. Yep. It's a little unfortunate that, I mean, obviously, but, hey, Orlando, go, you run a strip club. Like, go open another business. Like, but it's a lot of work as opposed to selling drugs.
And the capital you would need to be able to do that.
Sure.
And,
yeah. So anyway, but so it obviously now things kind of take this turn, and now we're gonna wonder what the outcome is for him. Obviously, we find out pretty quickly. But a question for you, Orlando is a relatively bit player. I mean, he's had some kind of these little arcs here and there. Were you, what was your thought about, like, that this drug bust went down with this character? Did were you interested in it? Like, were you like, why are we following this one guy or anything? Because I'm just thinking, like, sorry, just if you kind of think about the bigger picture for this season, he doesn't really have that much of a role.
That's a good point. I didn't really think about it like that.
Okay.
I guess it did. I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely, I didn't see it coming. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. So it
Yeah.
didn't really throw you off though.
It
That
didn't throw me off
Okay.
too much, but you know, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like he is like more like a bit player, and it is kind of interesting that he gets. I would never have seen him when I was thinking about, you know, kind of even as all the characters are introduced, who has potential as an informant. You know, I never would have thought Orlando would be on that list. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's okay. So that's fine. It did kind of, that was just a question popped up, but obviously in terms of the overall arc of the season, he is absolutely crucial to what's going to happen. So but I was just curious if you had some thoughts in the moment, but it sounds like it didn't disconnect you at all. So cool. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep going then.
Okay, well, we do a quick aside to McNulty over at Wallace's place, and it still looks just as sad and now empty as it did before. And Wallace is not there; nobody's there. You know, he kind of opens up the fridge, and we see the juice box. You know, I think all those little kids that live in there with them, and the juices and chips they were giving them. And now we are back to Bubs at the park, and he is chatting with Waylon. So Waylon's back, and this was really interesting. We learned a lot about Bubs that we did not get before through their conversation. We find out that the woman who was letting Bubbles sleep on her couch in the basement is his sister, and that he even has a son. That one was like, whoa. Keyshawn and his mom took him to go live in New Jersey, and you know, he said, I can't blame her. Yeah, of course she did.
Yeah.
We also find out that Waylon has the bug, AIDS,
Yep.
right? And that he gave it to his partner, but not his daughter. And, you know, it is, you know, real talk. It's real touching to listen to them open up to each other and just hear about, you know, what their lives are like. So I don't know. I liked this bit of exposition. It was really good. And, you know, then I remember Bubs asks Waylon, you know, did you ask for forgiveness? And Waylon has this great line, you know, you want to kick this shit, you got to forgive your own self.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is so true.
You asking forgiveness?
Of course.
What's he say?
What she needed to say. Look, forgiveness from other folks is good, but it ain't nothing but words coming at you from outside. You want to kick this shit? You got to forgive your own self. Love yourself, son, brother. And then drag your sorry ass to some meetings.
Meetings.
What the fuck you want to hear? That you're strong enough to do this by yourself? Getting clean's the easy part. Now comes life.
You know, and you know, just like it kind of finishes with, you know, yeah, you've been clean. That's the easy part. Now you have the rest of life.
Right.
Right. So yeah, that was great.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, as you said, like if you don't forgive yourself, you're carrying it with you.
Exactly.
That sort of that
and
feeling.
What are you going to want to do? You're going to want to medicate it away.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, before you move off, I did want to just share one thing. The interaction between the two is fantastic, and those two actors really do a great job together. There's a great moment when Waylon says, I've got the bug. The camera pans from behind the two to in front as Bubbles leans back against the bench. So like it really just, because Bubbles, I think, probably is thinking of Johnny and how he's got the bug. And, you know, I'm not sure if Bubbles is sort of thinking about himself, or he's just like devastated kind of by hearing the news and just sort of knowing somebody else that has it.
Yeah.
But the camera move I thought was just a really nice touch, because it really accentuates Andre Royal like leaning back and feeling the weight of what Waylon told him. So I just like that. You know, I just appreciated that.
That was very nice.
Good job, Uda Brietzowitz.
Yeah. Go Uda. Uda. The bomb. Uda bomb, Uda.
I'm gonna let Ellie
sorry.
she gets all the puns today because she's upset. So,
okay, so they're figuring out how to get Wallace, right? McNulty is. And when McNulty's at his place, one of the things we realize that he has noticed, which we've noticed in earlier episodes, is that they're stealing electricity, right?
Yep.
There's been many times that the cameras have shown all of these wires going between and the wire coming out of that particular apartment that they squat in. And so when let's see here. Oh, we get back to McNulty and there's some cops there, and he tells them that the way they're going to pick up Wallace is because of this electricity that they're stealing. And the other guy is like, I'm policing for BG&E, which is apparently Baltimore Gas and Electric.
Very nice.
That up. And, I was talking before too about how they call them Yos, and he calls them a Project Yo.
Yep.
But, McNulty, eases him over with some crab cakes and beers. And then we find out from McNulty that Kima wants him to come so that they can go meet with Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love, you got it all. I do love Mrs. McNulty didn't raise no fools. Yeah. I try to use that whenever I can, even though it's a lie, because while my mom did a great job raising me, I am a fool. So, but still, I love using that line. So, and actually, this is not Mr. Nugget's life lesson, but I like the idea of just, hey, if you're going to ask somebody to do something and you know that it's painful, just make sure that you stock the thing with whatever's going to tickle their particular fancy.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Good job, McNulty, there. So
Yeah.
he's not a complete psychopath.
He is not.
So
Just partial.
yeah, right.
Okay. Oh, Dee tries to catch Shardine as she goes into Orlando's, and she says, "Beat it."
Yep.
So good for Shardine.
Yep.
Yes.
The music that was playing
Yes.
was "I'll Go Crazy" by James Brown.
Okay, that was another one where I have in my notes I have a music note. It was
Yeah.
just there was good music there.
Yeah, and again, they're really hitting all the they're hitting all the music. this
Yeah,
time.
I love that. It's
Yep.
got that deeper meaning to it. All right, well, McNulty and Greggs are now with Omar, and he clearly looks like he is struggling.
Yep.
And McNulty asks him how close he got. Omar says he would have been chalking him,
Yeah.
drawing the chalk around him.
Yeah.
I love that. Kima asks what happened to laying low, so we could work hard. He tells him that Avon wants to call a truce now, and he says, he's not so sure about it. Kima tells him right off that, take the truce. And he's like, I don't know if this is, real. Anyways, he goes ahead and shows him the bullet wound, and it looks bad. And he says, help me out. You guys got doctors.
Yeah.
So, and he can't go to the emergency room because if he does, he knows that, somebody's going to see it and call Avon, and he's going to get got on his way out.
Right. Yeah. And I thought about this and the fact that they both agreed to do it, but they want this bird case to go down.
Yeah.
And so
They
they need Omar alive, basically, which is a very interesting place to be in, right?
Yeah.
Like
He
he's
can
going
get
to,
away with almost
right. I
anything.
mean, really, right. He basically has committed attempted murder and
Yes.
is admitted to it.
Yes.
And they're going to take him to the doctor so he can get healed up.
Yep, exactly. They're between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. Yeah. A
They
little
are.
bit.
Okay. Oh, well, this point we find out why that guy was smiling in the
Right.
car at Orlando, because this was a drug bust.
Yep.
And Orlando was trying to buy from an undercover police officer.
Yep.
So he is now in custody at a different police station. He's with the Maryland State Police. And we find out he's willing to give up names for some leniency. He has mentioned an Avon Barksdale, which I was really surprised that he went to that so quickly.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, they tell him he's going to go to city jail. So,
Yeah.
Orlando, I'm just like, oh, you're just digging your grave.
Yep.
Here. It's just not good at all.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it really, and it is interesting because they don't show any of that dialogue.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't show any of Orlando actually
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, I can buy weight" or whatever. They just
Right.
lay it all out. The conversation, which I love that that approach.
Yeah.
The character Troy Wiggins is chewing gum in every scene, and I'm like, dude, how much louder can you chew gum? I actually really like his character. I think he really plays it well.
He's a great character.
But it's just like, oh my god, the gum chewing is just driving me crazy. So I don't know if what's that term, misophonia?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that might have just been like, but
It's a little too much.
and it is funny too that he just has absolutely no empathy. Not that he should necessarily, but when he goes Eagle Street motherfucker, like,
Yeah.
or I was like, or City Jail motherfucker. It's
Yeah.
like, holy crap,
Yeah.
dude! Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be like so joyful
No,
about seeing the guy.
he is. It's right. He's joyful about
Yeah.
it. He's kind of like,
I mean,
yeah.
on the other hand, hey, you made a pretty significant arrest. I
Right.
guess it's got to feel pretty good. So
Yes.
anyway, it's just kind of funny.
Yes.
So, yeah. That's pretty much all I've got for that. So.
Okay. Well, we are now outside the Mondo Mart.
Mhm.
Finally, the Mondo Mart. We get to see it. It looks so Mondo.
Yep.
Anyways, so a woman is on the phone that they are wanting to tap, and this was kind of cool because she says something like, "Oh, I haven't seen him since Afram," and I was like, "What is Afram?" So I looked it up. Did you know what it is?
No.
Okay, so Afram is one of the largest African American festivals on the East Coast and takes place in Baltimore's Druid Hill Park.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is very
745
cool.
acres, 100,000 plus people every year. They have all sorts of cool musicians playing, and it's usually like on Juneteenth.
Oh, awesome.
And that's just
Wow.
like, I was like, dang, I had never heard of that before. It sounds amazing.
Nice poll.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Anyways, Carver's in the van and he's just like eating junk food and belching and being gross. Cinder comes in, he's disgusted with
Yeah.
him. And they swap places.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we skipped over that a little bit, and that was my fault. But just the fact that McNulty and Freeman are like, yeah,
I know.
you guys are. It's
I
like,
know that it just, I was surprised that it just went so automatically to them like that too.
right. I mean, I guess that's how it probably goes. Is you put your
Yeah.
least valuable detectives or whatever. Although we love Sidnor, but
Yes,
and
love
just
Sidnor.
put them on the
Yeah.
in the van. I don't know if there's some symbolism about Carver just eating garbage and
Yes.
Sidnor coming in. And by the way, I love the line, "You trifling," just
Damn, Carl, you trifling.
Yeah, I admit it. I'm disgusting.
Cheese puffs and fucking ring dings.
Yeah.
I use that every once in a while too. I'm like, damn, you damn kid. Like my kids will leave, leave a bunch of garbage. I'm like, you trifling. And but it does. I don't know if it is symbolic, but it is kind of funny that Carver is just absolutely wrecking himself
I
and the food he's
know.
eating. And,
Yes.
So, but yeah, okay. So then, it now you kind of see like how and this is probably also by design of like this is how part of policing can be incredibly boring,
Yeah.
right? And just like you got to sit and stare at a phone
Yeah.
for 12 hours straight. Oh, that sounds really
Oh, it sounds
terrible.
terrible. Yeah, it does.
He should have a book with him or something,
Yeah,
you know.
something.
Some
My
kind of
gosh.
meditation, like a little meditation bell next to him.
That'd be nice.
Every time I want another pack of ring dings, I have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, let's see here. Sandy is also watching a payphone. He's on the roof at
Yep.
the terraces, and he tells Freeman, who's in the dungeon, that little man's on the phone. And so then they tell Sidner to be ready on his end at the Mondo Mart. So they're gonna be able to nail down where the main stash
Yep.
house is. Let's see. Back at Homicide, Bunk and somebody else. I don't know who is the
Norris.
other. Norris. Oh, that is Norris. Okay. Come up on McNulty. He is sleeping on a chair in
Yep.
front of the interview room. He does look like he's like passed out from
Yeah.
drinking, and they make a joke about it. But he's not. He's been there, and Wallace, we see, is in the interview room. And he tells Bunk that Wallace gave them a murder.
Yep.
And he places Stringer, Weebay, and Stinkum, which
Yep.
is huge for them. And he barely needed to be convinced to
Yeah.
talk, right?
Kid gave us a murder. More than that, he's put in Stringer Bell.
Oh, yeah?
Picks out Weebay, Bird, and Stinkum from photo arrays. Puts them all up at the Greeks the night they grab up Omar's boy, Brandon. Puts Bell in the truck, too. Says Stringer told him to point out the stick-up boy.
Geez, what do you have over here?
Not a fucking thing. Kid was ready. Barely had to push him.
Whose case?
Norris's.
How old?
16. Lives in the shit old vacant over on Argyle. When I grab him up, I swear he's halfway into a nod.
Using?
When they killed the stick-up boy, the motherfuckers dumped the body in the alley right behind where this kid and all the other low-rise hoppers lay their heads. Can you imagine? All he can think about.
And he at this point does not know he'll need to testify, and they have no idea where they're going to put him
Yeah.
until that point.
Yep.
So, yeah. And,
Yeah.
and Wallace is all, sleeping, curled up in the interview room.
Yeah.
Still a kid. And
That's the hardest part, right? Is that, he is still a kid.
He's still
I mean,
a
he's
kid.
16, but,
Yeah.
still very much a kid. And
Yeah.
and I think that as we saw it last episode as well, which is that he's still carrying this weight and the cost is kind of coming due. Like he gets pulled in and he's like, I don't have any resistance left.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just worn him down.
He just crumples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's, and you could sell, one thing I like about that particular scene is kind of by contrast, Wallace, McNulty and Bunk, I think you can see a lot of empathy for them. Now, of course, they're talking about a kid as opposed to an adult, but nevertheless, the idea that McNulty is just like how could you imagine what this experience would be like to see this tortured, killed person in just outside your vacant apartment or whatever.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, and of course that's ironic from Avon's point of view, right? Because now we're going to find out what happens here. But like, if he hadn't done that, if he had just, Brandon got snatched up and you never saw him again, Wallace would not be affected like this.
That's true.
He would have been known that Brandon was killed, but would not have known anything else about it. And so, so he exposed himself. Avon did because his pride was effectively.
Yes, exactly. Because he wanted to make a statement.
Yeah, exactly.
He wanted to warn everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, back at the Mondo Mart, Sidner is, let's see here, he gets pictures of the phone call, and back at the terrace, we see, they call him Big Boy, opposite of Little Man, Big Boy picking up. And anyways, so they tell them they'll get a drop first thing tomorrow. Okay, they're running low, so they're going to get a drop. And now follows this guy who's on the phone at Mondo Mart, and he is in his, kind of druggy disguise.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, like, if it happened on Carver's watch, did Carver have a disguise to go looking like that out
That's
there?
an excellent point.
I was like, well, seems okay. Anyways, doesn't really matter. So, okay.
But McNulty definitely couldn't have been the guy to follow.
No, he could not have been. No, he would have stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Definitely not good for him to do that.
Or Santangelo for that matter.
Yeah. We're going to pop out to Orlando in city jail. And while he is there, another inmate who's got a mop spots him and makes a call to someone.
Yep.
Clearly Avon's got eyes everywhere.
Yep.
I don't know who he's talking to, but we just know this is going to get back to Avon.
Yep.
Back to Sidner.
Wait, did you recognize?
No, I didn't recognize him. That's why I was wondering
That
who's that.
is, wait, I've got his name. That is Marvin Browning from episode 4. He was the one who they wanted to turn and talk about Avon Barksdale.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll take the years.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
So he is not.
Oh, good. Oh, God. Yeah. Okay.
They've got, they got all these details.
Yeah.
So that's
that is a good detail.
So he is not going to get my killer cameo. Even he got it the last time. So no 2-time winners. In
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
And so, but George Watson, excellent job once again. Just really love that. So
I mean, I was sure that we had seen him before, but I did not remember that it was the guy from episode 4.
Yep.
Thank you.
So you recognize him. You just couldn't quite place him.
Yes.
I mean, watch it 1,000 times. You'll remember.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. All right. I'm not going to watch it 1,000 times.
All right, fine.
I'm going to die 1,000 times.
That's true.
It's going to kill me. All right. Sidner sees the house that this guy goes to, and it is covered in security cameras. Reminds me of that lady out on this street that's lives near us. She got a whole bunch of cameras outside, too. It's kind of scary. I don't think she is a main stash house for drugs, but
maybe she is.
Oh, my God. Anyway.
That would explain some of her erratic behavior.
Sorry, more on our neighbor later.
Right.
Yeah, so Sidner, now, so he's got all these details that he's going to tell them back down in the dungeon. Back to the interview room with Wallace. Daniels is now in there with McNulty, and we find out that Wallace has been selling drugs since he was 12.
Ugh.
He used to sell with Ronnie Moe when Ronnie Moe was there before Dee. McNulty specifically asks him about Deirdre Crescent's murder, and if he knows anything about it. And Wallace pauses. You know that he remembers that conversation with Dee, but then he says, nah, Dee was good to me.
Yeah.
And then they go on to confirm what happened at the Greek with Brandon.
Did Angelo ever talk to you about what happened in the 221 building? With Pooh getting shot? How about anything else like that?
Like what?
killings, murders. You see anything about a girl getting shot in an apartment up on the east side?
Nah, D was good to me. He all right.
But D'Angelo, he was who you called that night when you saw the sticker boy at the Greeks, right?
Yeah, but he didn't go up there. It was mostly those tower boys.
And Stringer. You said Stringer was in the truck. He called you over, asked you to point out the stick-up boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's obviously you caught that, which was, really interesting. And, I get the feeling that if it had been a different, you kind of look back to the interrogation with D'Angelo in episode 2.
Yeah.
I think that if McNulty wanted to press, he probably picked up that Wallace wasn't telling the truth.
Yeah.
But I get the sense that maybe like his better angels kind of said, okay, I'm not going to push this kid on getting a confession out of something else.
Yeah. I wondered about that.
Yeah. Particularly, I think because they thought they already had D'Angelo. So they could charge him anyway. So it's almost
right. They do
really
say
necessary.
that they have enough to charge
Yeah.
him. Yeah. And as the viewer, it's kind of like I want D an opportunity to be the better man to get out of this, but I also kind of want him to pay for it. And I wish Wallace said something. So just kind of like a little bit angry with Wallace, like don't protect him.
Yeah.
He's not worth it.
Yeah.
But then he has been good to Wallace and those guys, and I don't know. It just goes back to how complicated character D is for me.
Yeah. No, for sure. Although interesting contrast in that Wallace didn't seem to have any trouble giving up these other guys who
Stringer,
essentially, basically dug their own grave by putting Brandon out there.
Yes.
Whereas D'Angelo kept trying to help Wallace. So Wallace was willing to protect the person that was protecting him effectively. Yeah. So, and it is interesting to think about Wallace being this linchpin for all of this, what could really bring down much of the Barksdale organization. So
exactly.
Yeah. Which I don't know that I picked up on it the first time. You were interested to see where Wallace was going to go.
Yeah.
But whether he was going to play such a big role in the case, that part I didn't see coming. I don't know.
Yeah, me either. No, I did not see that coming.
Okay.
Did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, because of what we end up seeing for the most part is this him dealing with this trauma, and you're kind of watching to see how that resolves, and then of course out of nowhere comes this other this other angle of now he's their whole case essentially to Brandon's murder. So just kind of interesting. So.
Yeah. Well, we are now, they've pulled in Rhonda because they want to see, what do we got here? What can we do? So she is reviewing everything they have, the beeper logs, the pen registers for the payphones. They say, as we mentioned, it's enough to charge D, but since he was not at the Greek, that it's not enough to convict. And they start discussing, what to do with Wallace. And we find out he has a grandma on the Eastern Shore. Can we put him up in a hotel? And who's going to pay for that? And just, this boy just kind of caught in between the powers, like where he's going to go, what he's going to do. Like he has no agency. Yeah. It's kind of... I don't know. It's sad.
No, it really is. And I wanted to stop here. Just, I don't know anything about how this works. Yeah. But it really kind of makes my blood boil that they have this kid is ready to give them 4 defendants in a murder case. Yeah. And they can't figure out where to get the money to like. I mean, okay, fine. You're putting him in a hotel. It's going to cost what, $50,000? I don't know.
Hell of a lot better than what he's been living in.
Right. Well, I'm right. I mean, sure, there's that on top. Right, number 1, but number 2, like, how much is a murder case like this worth?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that part just kind of. I'm sure it's true. I'm sure it's realistic.
Yeah.
I don't get it at all.
I know.
I mean, if you ask taxpayers, how much are you willing to pay for a witness that will give people, someone, give, essentially a lock on a guilty plea,
Right.
or a guilty verdict.
Yeah.
Like
Verdicts.
right,
Yes.
exactly. Verdicts, yes, thank you. How much would you pay? And boy,
I
it
know.
seems worth it, but I don't know. Maybe
It
I'm
does.
being,
Yeah, I know. What do we know?
Yeah, what do we know?
They just put us in charge.
Yeah.
This would be a different show. Chemo would be alive. No, sorry. Okay, let's see here. McNulty gets a call, and as this is going on, and it sounds like something is up with his ex-wife, Elena, and he suddenly needs a lawyer. Rhonda's there.
Yep.
So Rhonda will be. More on that in a little bit here.
Yep.
Okay, back to the dungeon. Freeman, Sidner, and Carver are there. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so they are looking at that house. They're kind of trying to figure out what's up with that house. They find out, in addition to having a ton of security cameras around it, it also has no phone service.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, this has got to be it. And, they're kind of thinking about, should we get a warrant? And Freeman says to Prez, he's like, you've got a gift for the paper trail, and I'm going to now need you to be out on the street and not in a role with a gun.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting teaser for what happens later.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and so it's interesting because on the one hand, it actually bugged me because, we talked about this last time and how Sidnor is inquisitive. He's asking these questions.
Yeah.
And Freeman just ignores his question. Like, why? Dude, answer the guy. Now, of course, Kima comes back and answers it later.
Right.
But I was like, come on, Freeman, don't be a jerk. Like,
I
tell
know.
him what you're
I
thinking.
don't
Of. Like,
have the
this is
time for
yeah,
your
exactly.
questions. Just trust me.
Yeah, and then, of course, it also reminds... we're going to just keep saying this throughout the season. You like seeing Presbeluski. Really, he's finding he's on it. He's in it now, and he's like hit his stride.
Yes.
He also blinded
He did. Yep.
a 14-year-old.
Our
So
redemption is not there quite yet.
Yeah, I really want him to repent. He's got to repent. Just being a good cop is not enough. But it is pretty interesting. And it's. I do like the dynamic that Freeman and him working together, and it really just seems like they're almost like communicating really almost like the way that Bunk and McNulty would communicate in a way where he's just, what are you seeing, and he just lays it all out, and he's got all the information at the ready. It's a really I do like that, but again, Prez is still a dick. Like he's just
dick.
he's
still
got
got a lot of growing to do.
Exactly, and he's got to pay for his crimes.
Yes,
so.
he does.
Anyway,
McNulty is paying for his
transgressions.
His transgressions. So he and his ex-wife are in court, and she wants an emergency ex parte, which is, I had to look it up, a legal proceeding for a custody change without notification to the other party. So this is, very sudden. This is why he was, not able to secure representation in time. And it is over how he took the boys, that pissed me off.
Yep,
I was
sure
don't blame her, to follow Stringer at the market, and the judge is very annoyed about the whole thing.
Yep.
She's like, can you two talk to each other?
Right.
Can you go figure this shit out, and then we can actually focus on something else around here? So kind of did not care for how the judge handled that personally.
Oh, interesting. What would you have done differently?
I mean,
How would you
I
handle
don't know.
it?
I just don't blame Elena for being
Okay.
upset and thinking that is a situation worthy of, a change in custody with your child.
So you would have granted
Fuck
anything.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. You taking my kid to follow a criminal around a market, getting separated from me, and that's not even it. I mean, taking the kids to the morgue when Omar sees Brandon. Dude,
Now that was not in evidence. There was no evidence.
That was not in evidence, but okay. So I have like a wider angle of vision on the thing for sure. But yeah, man, I'd be like,
That's
no.
interesting. Okay.
No.
And I hear you. I said this before when I first watched the show. I think I was seeing it I was very myopic, and McNulty's the hero, and and I didn't have kids, so I think that probably also affected me. I have one nitpick here.
Go for it.
Which is Elena. So we all know that the kids were following Stringer Bell.
Yeah.
But Elena doesn't know that Stringer Bell is a criminal. She doesn't know anything about this guy. Like, I mean, unless McNulty tells his kids, who then tell Elena, which I mean, it could have happened, but I don't
He's
see
a
it.
homicide police detective.
Yeah.
I mean, you find out that your kids were like tailing somebody for your husband.
Yeah.
What are you gonna think?
Nothing. I mean, you're just like, we're gonna play front and
I'm gonna
follow.
think the
Like
worst.
even when you look back on it, like, what was the point of the game? Like they didn't know what was going on, right?
I still don't think it excuses it.
Sorry,
I mean,
it doesn't
that whole
excuse
time
losing
that
the kid.
I was
No.
watching it, I was not the losing the kids. So you're saying that is she wanting this just because he lost the kids in the market? No, she says it's because they were trailing somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were saying, he said in that episode
Yeah.
that they play it all the time. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So, you kind of take it from there. And
Yeah.
sorry, let me be
Okay.
clear about something before we get too far down this, because I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to talk about this for 10 minutes. But I'm not defending. Sorry,
Right.
I'm not defending. It's more just about like, she knows what we know,
Yeah.
that Stringer Bell is a criminal.
Yeah.
But there's actually not really the only way she would have found that out is if her kids told her,
Right.
Because McNulty's not going to tell her.
Yeah.
So that's the only way.
Yeah.
Which I don't
Yeah.
see I don't see an easy way path for that to happen.
Right.
If she had just said, that he lost them, now what would make more sense is that he lost them while they were playing a game in this crowded city market or whatever, and he was being irresponsible. Okay, that's fine, no problem. But it seemed like the whole thing was about the fact that a criminal was involved, but I don't see any way that she would have had that information. So it's a nitpick. It's minor. It means almost nothing. I just kind of caught me this time. I was like, oh yeah, she really wouldn't have known that. So anyway, but back to your point, it is interesting to me, like that. I did feel like the judge took an approach that seemed reasonable of just like, can you guys just talk to each other? Like, can you guys, before we do anything, let's just have a conversation, because it goes back to, is she just getting even? Is she still making him pay the cost?
Yeah.
I should ring a little bell every time I say it, but is that what this is about? Or because I do feel like that's going to be an undercurrent through this whole thing.
Okay.
So that, or is it, and is the emergency ex parte, like, is it extraordinary, or is it something that happens with some regularity? That part I don't know.
Okay.
So anyway, I don't have much more to say.
Let's skip a scene here to
Okay.
the point when they are on the bench talking outside.
Okay, yeah.
Because, he still is not up front. He lies.
Yes.
He lies.
Yes, he does.
And she knows he lies.
Yes.
He stretches things so they're a little bit more in his favor. And
Yep.
I think that anytime he tells her something happened, she in her mind knows to go to 50 degrees of worse of whatever you said.
Right.
So that's kind of what I'm feeling like. We learn through that scene that Perlman was the reason for the divorce. I should say his infidelity with her was
Yes.
the reason for the divorce.
Correct.
She hired a private investigator to find that out, and that Rhonda doesn't know that all happened. And he just is very good at softening the situation in a way that is really not true in my opinion. Oh, it's a crowded market, it was going to be fine, I still love you, are you still with her? No. Yes, kind of. I mean,
That line
Is
just
that
made me.
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So
Just,
that's what I think
And-
it factors into it a lot.
Yeah.
It's like she can't trust him.
Yeah, and you're right about that. And of course, like, I do like how she presses, like, with almost like no
Yeah.
real effort, she really just presses him
Yes.
and gets him to essentially confess,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just no, a little,
Yeah.
like, or, yes, or a little. And it's like, what does a little mean? I don't, I mean, we know what it
Yeah,
means,
we
but,
know what it
at the
means.
same time, it's like, no, either you
little.
are together, or, you're still
We're fucking
or not.
whenever I feel like
Right,
it,
exactly.
but I mean, not really.
Yeah, and so that part kind of was interesting, and it did feel like when he's like, "I love you too," is he just trying to like butter her up a little bit to
Yeah,
calm her down?
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
So that
I
part,
think he knows.
yeah. But yeah, even so, like his like, I know the guy. That was not very convincing either.
Right.
So as you said, I'm sure she's like, I don't believe you. Like,
Yeah.
but she's not going to argue that point because it doesn't really.
Yeah, exactly.
She's
What-
just
it's not
guessing.
gonna- it's not
and
gonna
so
make anything go further.
yeah, and so she was. Now as you kind of walk all that through, it's like it is kind of it's not surprising, but she is being magnanimous in going back and getting this settled.
Yes.
Because she really could be like, you fucking rat bastard. Like you bring her here and you're still having sex. Like, what is wrong with you? You are going to pay,
What is wrong with you?
and she lets it go. So it's kind of, she could have hung him out to dry, and it sounds like she didn't. So yeah, but yeah, it is interesting to hear your response to it as I mentioned before, because just with the having seen it when I first watched it, my perspective was very different from where yours is. When I feel like if I watch it now, I'd like to think that I would be a little bit more critical of McNulty in this situation. So
yeah, you better tell your wife. Okay, sorry, just joking. All right, so moving right along, I'm going to go back to the scene that I just skipped.
I just went to 11 for no reason.
No, that's a good reason. Orlando is talking to the scuzziest lawyer in the world.
Yep.
Levy, and so now the club can't be in your name
Yeah.
anymore, Orlando, because you're supposed to keep a clean front and you're not supposed to be in jail, and you went to jail.
Yep.
Orlando's like, I want these guys to give me some money for the bail bond, and Levy basically says, who are you to make demands?
Right.
Yeah, and Orlando's kind of stuck. He signs all these papers and he's got no bail money. Yeah, he's been left high and dry.
Yeah, and his one bit of leverage of I'll sign, like my signature is worth something, and Levy's like, no, it isn't.
No, well,
It's
you
not
you want me to tell him that you're
right.
not going to sign this?
Yeah, that's got to be the worst feeling. I mean, on top of also like knowing that you're going to go to prison.
Yes.
So, yeah, and Levy he's just not hearing anything. That's the part where the actor, I'm forgetting his name. Hang on a second. I'll bring it up here. But like he just could not give a shit.
No.
Whatever Orlando's saying.
No.
It's just
I mean, he acts like all these guys that he has to go in and work with are children, like or worse. Like he's just like, I don't have the time for you. You're supposed to do this, and why you didn't do it, and this is the way it's gonna be. Yeah, that actor does a great job.
Yeah, Michael Kostroff, which interesting. Nina Noble, her middle name is Kostroff, which I wonder. I never thought about. There's no relation, but anyway, yeah. But he's like, he's only in this one scene, and God, do you hate his? I just hate his guts. Even though he's doing right by Avon, but it's can you just like have a little bit of empathy for this client? No,
nope.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't have any.
Yep.
Okay, well, back at the dungeon. Yeah. Now Wallace is down there, and it's kind of interesting. He's watching the TV, and when we look at this old black and white television, it's Clayton speaking to the press as he runs for mayor. Mm-hmm. So that was a little interesting drop there.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure, well, he's not running for mayor. He's not running.
What is he doing?
He's just running for city council.
Oh, for
or state senate. Sorry, state senate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he's just. I'm not sure if the mayor is. No, the mayor's not in it, but he's just kind of campaigning.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is Day his aide?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't think I realized that. I
did, but you forgot. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that he was some state senator's aide, but I don't okay. It was Clayton. Okay.
Yeah, because Daniels and Day meet.
When they were, he was with.
Yep. Okay. But you never saw Clay Davis and Day together.
Exactly.
So you just heard the words and then you make the connection later.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, putting it together. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are suddenly in a.
But sorry, this is. I will just make a note.
Okay.
That Clay Davis campaigning is. Just keep a note of that. Just remember that's what's happening.
Clearly, there was a reason we saw that on the TV.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we are in a very nice area of downtown Baltimore, and we see Prop Joe is going to mediate a parlay between Stringer and Omar. I mean, technically Avon and Omar, but Avon doesn't do any of that stuff. So Stringer's down there, and he kind of talks to them.
Yo, this nigga coming on what, man?
Said he would if I guaranteed a parlay, and I'm here on it. Of course, he said y'all will be paying my fee rather than his own self.
Your fee?
I'm doing like one of the marriage counselors. Charge by the hour to tell some fool he need to bring some flowers home. Then charge another hour telling the bitch she ought to suck some cock every little once in a while. You know, keep a marriage strong like that. Speaking of cocksuckers. Don't believe we met. Proposition Joe. You ever steal from me, I kill your whole family. All right. Y'all both here on my guarantee, so respect that shit and say what you feel. I'm up out of here.
He tells him to be good. He's getting money for this, like a marriage counselor. He's a nice little line in there about how to keep a marriage happy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anyways, he says, be good, and he leaves him to it. He takes off. And Stringer says, you know, I have a message from someone.
Yes.
You know, don't steal anymore, and we're even.
Yeah.
You're all good. And Omar is like, you killed Bailey.
Yeah.
You tortured, brutalized Brandon. You know, you think I'm just going to squash this?
Yeah.
Stringer says, say there's dead on both sides. And if you're, you know, if you want a war, we've got the bigger army, is basically what he tells him. Omar says to tell Avon, I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Avon, to give me some money and I will call it off. And so, you know, we'll see what happens with that. McNulty is listening in on the wire. And this conversation, at the very least, ties Stringer to Brandon's death. So they at least get that if we don't get the name Avon.
This conversation didn't do that directly. He already had that with with Wallace. But this is so they're trying to. Omar was trying to
get him to say
connect
Avon.
it, but Stringer wasn't biting.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, he's way too careful.
Yeah.
Not too careful. I mean, he's the right amount of careful
Right,
for the situation.
Right.
Too careful for them. Okay. Anything you want to say about that?
I would say that for me, I don't know if this applied to you, but I did not pick up that a lot of what they explained afterwards. Like that to me was, you know, like how Omar was trying to get Stringer to admit to stuff.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't kind of picking up on that.
Okay.
And, you know, it was helpful for me to understand what Omar's kind of play here was.
Yeah.
And because what didn't make sense to me at the very beginning when they're talking about how they are going to get Omar, if they're going to call a truce, and then we basically, when he pops out of his hole, I'm like, wait, if you're calling a truce and then you're just waiting for him to, you know, expose himself, like, is that a truce? I don't get it. And I didn't understand that part of it. But of course, then what they're trying to say is like, hey, we'll talk about a deal, and the deal will get him into a situation where he doesn't, you know, where he's essentially cornered or whatever.
Exactly.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
So that part I didn't get either.
Okay.
And so that's why it was helpful for me to hear that part of it. And of course, like, you're just kind of, you know, it is interesting to think about like how they are actually going to call the truce. Like the truce itself, I don't know what that, it feels like it doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
And I'm sure for Omar, he kind of knew that like, yeah, you're calling a truce. What does that mean?
Yeah,
I don't understand that. So
yeah.
Anyway, so that part's kind of interesting to me because it just never felt like there really was going to be a truce no matter what.
Right.
Right. Like,
I agree with you.
If Weebay saw Omar on the street, he's going to shoot. He's going to shoot him. You know, that's how I read it anyway. But
yeah, I kind of thought that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, when he says, I need some money.
Yeah.
And, you know, Stringer's like, okay, well, you know, you can come to us. And Omar's like, oh, no, we're not going to do it like that.
Yeah.
You know, so that indicates that he knows that, you know, that there's still kind of
exactly.
like, I don't know, like, I guess maybe there's not a bounty on his head is the truce part, but he still could get just killed.
Yeah.
By one of them.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me see here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Daniels takes Wallace to his grandma's house on the Eastern Shore.
Yep.
He has not been there since he was 9 years old. Right. We know his mother. I think they said she's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
She's no stable life. So it's really kind of I don't know. It's a very poignant scene. You know, at one point they're in the woods kind of, and Wallace says, "What's that sound?"
Yeah.
And Daniel says, crickets.
Yeah.
And he goes, cricket. He goes, crickets. Oh, I could watch it over and over again. It was just, I mean, that he lives a city life that he doesn't even know the sound of crickets, or that it's like crickets plural.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. And just seeing kind of Daniel's be fatherly and protective of him. And, I just want to know, if you've been using, because I want to know if you're going to get sick in my car. That's, I'm not judging you. I don't know. It's just, I loved it.
How much were you using? I'm asking if you're going to be sick in my car.
A cap now and then.
You just snorting? You be out in the day too. Come on.
Yeah, and that's right. And it reminded me just now of when Kevin Johnson was in, and Daniels was trying to be not fatherly, but like at least like an ally.
Yeah.
And Daniels, when Wallace is just sitting there eating his red vines or whatever it is, and he's he's asking him questions in such a gentle way, and he's like, how much were you using? And I'm not judging or whatever. I want to know if you're gonna get sick and things. Like there's a real, like, Lance Reddick, the two really play well to each other, and I like the way that Michael B. Jordan he just looks so beaten down, and just
even just like how he stands up. Oh, poor baby.
Yep. And so and as you said, like when he was sleeping in the interrogation room, and now he's like, what does that sound? And it's,
I know.
And it's such a nice touch, as you said, like that the writers put in, that like you've lived in the city all your life and you don't even know what crickets sound like. So, and it's been 7 years since he was there, so he probably doesn't remember when he was. So yep. It's a nice scene, and I like the way they shoot it too. It's just like the two of them walking to the house. It's nice.
Really, really tender.
Yeah.
Very lovely.
Yep.
Okay, we are at that back room in Orlando's, or upstairs, wherever that kind of little hideaway they have. It's Avon Stringer and Weebay, and they are discussing what went down with Omar and discussing the payment. And just as they're starting to get into that, Shardine delivers a tray of drinks, and you could tell she's trying to linger and listen in to whatever she can. And they kind of like, oh, hold on, thank her. I don't know. I feel like Avon tries to use some French or something.
He does. Mon ami.
Mon ami. My friend, very cute. All right, anyways, and she heads out and tries to listen in at the door. But anyways, we go back inside, and we find out that they're they're going to give the money to Omar, and then when they do that, they're going to kill him.
Yep.
So kind of what I figured would happen.
Now I'm going to say that the music here, while I think I don't know if it's fitting or not. I feel like it's not, but the song playing in the background here is called Miss Fat Booty, which, I mean, come on, Shardine.
She done got no fat booty.
No. Anyway, but by Mos Def, so just give him credit. But that was kind of interesting, because you don't really see that. You haven't really seen that dynamic before of like a stripper coming up and bringing drinks or whatever. Right. But of course, then it lets us in on what is Shardine doing, how's she helping out, and so now how that goes. So and then of course, like we learn. I'm just going to skip ahead, but we have to learn about this other challenge for Freeman, and how is he going to help? How is Shardine going to help, because she can't see anything?
That her ugly ass glasses.
Right.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah.
First, though, here we go. Okay. Greg's.
All right.
And Cheryl, her girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And another couple are... Actually, there's like 3 other people there. Like a couple and another single woman.
Yep.
And they are drinking. They're having fun at a bar, taking shots, and, going on. And kind of gets to... They're talking about careers a little bit. And we can see Cheryl does not like that Kima is a cop.
Right.
And then the one single lady is like, Kima, how'd you decide to be a cop?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very kind of obviously done.
Yeah.
It's not subtle at all.
Yeah.
Not like the talk between Bubs and Waylon, where that I liked that. This was not so much. But it is a really, the way Kima tells it is very nicely done.
I agree. There aren't that many scenes where I'm like, oh, it just makes me cringe a little bit.
Yeah.
It is so heavy-handed.
That
like,
one is
how did you decide that? How did you?
Exactly.
Please explain exactly.
And this is, of course, where I should started seeing it coming. Like, learning a lot
Yeah.
about Kima right now. This
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know.
just getting really emotionally invested in her. Damn you.
I mean, I don't feel, it makes me feel a little bit better because this single lady has to watch both couples make out, and
I
that's
know.
super uncomfortable.
I thought so too. I was like, fifth wheel. Whoa.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. Like one of the other couples couldn't ask that question, but anyway, they had to keep this other person in
They're
there.
all kissing on each other
Yeah.
constantly. She's just watching, like, oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, but let me ask this
Okay.
because the story that she tells,
Yeah.
like, what were your thoughts on? What were your thoughts on the
I
story?
couldn't see how that story, like, I couldn't personally see how that experience would be like, yeah, I love this. I'm a cop.
Yeah.
But I mean, it also made me kind of like break down, like, what is it about Kima that experience would make her want to be a cop?
Right.
You know,
right.
chasing. So she talks about like, she's a trainee. She chases down this purse snatcher. She catches him. He's beating the crap out of
Yeah,
her, but
yeah.
she's holding her own. And then, Charlie Smoot,
Yeah.
like this legend, comes and hands her the bracelets
Yeah.
that we heard about in the epigraph, the cuffs,
Yep.
and says, "Here you go, Rook."
Yeah.
And then that's how she knew.
I remember when I was in the Northeast, still field training as a cadet. I didn't know if I was going to stick with it or not. And then we got this one call. We chased this purse snatch up into these apartments. I got separated from my FTO and shit, I ain't even no police yet, you know? I'm just a trainee and I'm alone. Anyway, I don't know how, but I find the guy. So I catch him and I hold on to him and I manage to get to my radio. And we in the middle of this parking lot and we're rolling around and shit, and this motherfucker steady kicking my ass trying to get away. And I look over and I see these black patterns and these uniform blue pants. Look up, and it's Charlie Smoot. Charlie fucking Smoot. Yo, this guy's a legend. He looks down at me and he smiles, real quiet like. And he drops his cuffs. He says, "Here you go, Rook." That's all he says. "Here you go, Rook." And then he dropped the bracelets and walked away. I mean, I know you don't like it. Shit, I was proud.
Yeah, I think that's and that.
I mean, what did you think of it? Like,
Yeah, I think I thought the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand. I mean, it's weird because I'm trying to remember if it even had an effect on me at all.
yeah,
And knowing what comes later in this episode,
yeah,
it's almost like, oh yeah, that's right, there was that conversation. But when I think about it now, she has this line right at the beginning. So number one, she doesn't really answer the question. Like, how did you decide
exactly.
to do this?
Yes, it's
but-
not how she decided to be a cop. It
Right.
was like the moment she decided to like stay a cop.
It-
I don't know.
yeah, that's it. So she said there's a bit of it's not a throwaway, but it's actually really important. But she's like, I wasn't sure if I was going to stick with it.
Yeah.
And then this experience happens, and Charlie Smoot, whoever this guy is, part of my problem with it is like, wait, in the story, this guy is kicking her ass, and this guy just walks up and throws down handcuffs. Like,
Yeah.
I just imagine like they're fighting, and
Yeah,
he just
exactly.
like
It's like,
walks
"Here you
up, drops some handcuffs, and just walks off. But no, I mean, I assume that she probably subdued him,
Yeah.
and he just comes up and helps her,
Yeah.
and he calls her Rook because I think that at that point he kind of identifies her as a police officer when he calls her Rook,
Yeah.
because she said, "I'm not even a police yet,"
Yeah.
and so that's kind of, so you really just, that's how she went from I'm not sure I'm going to stick with it to I want to be really good at this
Right.
job. That was kind of the transition
Yeah.
point is for me. So, but I've had a lot of time to kind of think about that and reflect on it. And so that's where I come out
Okay.
on it. So I just know, like, since it was
Yeah.
the first or second time that you said if that story really had like much of an effect on you, I mean, other than boy, now, why are you telling me this really important point?
Why
This really important story right now. Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah.
If only I knew.
Yeah.
If only I knew.
Yeah.
Okay, where am I? Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Why did Prez have to be out on the street
Yep.
but not with a gun? Well, because he and Sidney are playing trash man.
Yep.
And they are picking up the garbage from the main stash house. And they bring it back and they find that there is a ton of drug making paraphernalia in the garbage. There's foil pans and vials and gel caps, baking soda, lositol powder, lactose. I don't know. These are things that I saw. Sidner wants to know why they don't get a warrant with this, and McNulty and Greggs explain that this opens the door for them to learn much more now that they know the stash house. So let's not go to that place yet. They can see who comes and who goes, and that is more valuable.
Yep.
And then in walks the guy who got Orlando.
Troy Wiggins.
Wig. And Kima knows him. And it's they have a pretty fun exchange.
Yep.
Apparently they dated. She jokes that he turned her. Everybody's laughing about that. McNulty gets a good laugh out of that. And Wig shares what he has learned from Orlando. And is like, ooh, hey, Sparksdale guy.
Yeah.
So another connection for them. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also say you want it. I say that with some regularity, so shout out to Troy Wiggins for that. Yeah, and I really like this dynamic. It just feels like it's just a collaboration.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very interesting, and especially it's interesting to see somebody come in from outside the organization and just kind of like fit right in. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So, and also the connection and to Orlando's strip club, and you kind of see that they're now seeing the the bigger picture. Like now they've got this other opportunity. But I also like how it kind of sets up the next conversation is really like the big thing for me.
Yeah.
Right. So and also they don't really hit on it very much. But as Kima said, like why would we write a warrant and instead of just watch? So like if you kind of pause there to think about it, they could have just gotten so much information about who is getting us there, where are all the stash houses, or who are all the like mid-level dealers and stuff like that. So there really was like a lot of opportunity connected to this one house. So so it's interesting to think about that, but we just kind of skip right over that because then you get to the Orlando storyline again.
Yes. First, we're gonna go to Freeman and Chardine, and this is the scene that we were talking about. He shows her all of these pictures of these guys.
You're, like,
might have been in the room when she delivered the drinks,
and you're like, "Oh, it was him! It was him! It was him!"
She's like, "I don't know."
Chardine, just pick out.
I know. It's these guys. I don't know. You're like, how could you not? And then you remember she can't see.
Yeah.
She pulls out her glasses, and so she cannot see these faces. And they have a very nice laugh about it. Freeman is very sweet with her still about the whole thing.
Yep.
She's like, would you wear these?
Yeah, and she has like the most charming. Yeah, when she does that line, her smile is just so charming.
Tips, yeah. You can't get mad at her.
Right. Exactly.
You can't because you're just like, I see. Okay, so we are now in a conference room with McNulty and Greggs and Perlman and Daniels, and they are trying to figure out what kind of deal they can give Orlando and for what kind of information. He's apparently able to give them information about the club, money laundering that happens there, possibly, anything with the girls. And if he does that, he can get a few years off, so some leniency. And at that point, Daniels gets a call from the deputy commissioner, and Kima gets beeped.
Yep.
So, shall we move along?
Yeah, I mean, it just the important part about that scene is to understand, Rhonda, Daniels, Kima and McNulty all understand that Orlando doesn't mean anything to the case, really, not much at all. And it's just important because that feeds into the conversation with Deputy Burrell.
Yes, yes. We are first going to go to Bubs and Kima.
Yep.
And it's going to get me. Bubs is like, I need a place of my own. Tells her he's been clean for 3 days, and she says, are you serious? And he says he is, and she's like, good job, Bubs. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
And she says, I can do, first off, you're not going to be a very good informant for me. She kind of jokes, but she's going to help him, and she says she'll set him up tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Tomorrow. That I should have known right then.
They really.
Damn, I should have known right then.
I need some help here.
Come on, Bubs. Got me coming across town in the middle of a fucked up work day just so you can hold 10. That shit ain't right.
Hold up. I don't need 10. Okay, I I don't know. I need a place of my own. I had some bed, some sheets, some clothes. I definitely need some new clothes.
How long you been clean?
3 days.
You serious about it?
Who knows?
What the fuck am I gonna do with a clean informant? Did you think about that? All right, I'm on it with you.
Yeah?
Yeah. Hey, what the fuck? Give me some love.
Okay, I mean, I think I can get, a mattress, my own place, everything for like a couple $100.
All right. We'll talk. I gotta be somewhere tonight, so hit me on my page tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
I got you.
Tomorrow, why so much weight on? Because I was thinking they put so much weight on tomorrow because it's like so much temptation for Bubs. Can he make it one more day?
Right.
Or is he going to, crack? I didn't think at all that had to do with would Kima be there tomorrow.
Right. That's an interesting point. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, it's, yeah. I think that Kima, what happens to her really was pretty shocking. Yeah. I think even at the time. Okay. And so I don't know that.
I'm usually really good with those hints. I'm really usually good with that, but I just didn't see it.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that. Yeah, but when you
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, we gotta you just wait, let it simmer. Okay. But the thing is that when you look at this scene and the scene with Cheryl, it's like, man, they're really hitting this hard.
They
boy,
did.
there's a lot riding.
Yeah,
He's got a lot riding on her. So
yes,
yeah. And but I love that dynamic, the dynamic between the two of them. Again, like I don't know if maybe it's just Andre Rose, the common thread, but when she goes like, "Well, come on, give me some love."
Yes, exactly.
It's
gives
so
her a kiss
great.
on the cheek. It's just
so adorable.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Ugh, now we have to go to fucking Burrell. Okay, Daniels is explaining that they need the wire to get the guys, right? And Burrell says he wants them to do it the way that they always do it.
Right.
By the bust.
Yeah.
Right? By busting the guys, getting the guys who buy the drugs and following it that way. And yeah, man, just I don't even know what to say. Just fucking Burrell. That's
right.
Just,
pretty much.
It's so tired. Why can't he see the potential for this? He doesn't want to. That's the thing, right? He wants to hold him down. He wants to make it not get more complicated for himself.
So yeah, because it is interesting to think about that. I mean, all you said is true. The part where I'm like, Daniels, just tell him that you are closer to getting Barksdale, and try to paint it in like there's a career case behind this.
Yes.
If we do it the right way. Deputy, you will come out shining if we do it the right way. But he's not selling it that way. He's kind of like, this is the only way to get the case that we want is this way. And he's not really putting it in Burrell's best interest. So Burrell's kind of looking at it as like, I'm tired of this thing, like, continuing to go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And so, that's what the way Burrell's thing is like, how do I get this case out from under this case?
Right.
And Daniels isn't selling a reason for him to stay with it. So, and the fact that Deputy Forster or Colonel Forster is, not on Daniels' side makes it a little bit more of a problem.
Yeah.
And I think the other, we don't see this. And again, this is just me being like, this is not a life lesson, but like, get your boss on board with you first before you go into that meeting.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, hey, let's, he could, but again, like it's important to have this dynamic in the show. So, but yeah, Burrell being in the position, he doesn't really explain why. He just kind of like says, screw this. Let's just go back to the way we've always done it.
This is the way we've always done it. This is the way that works.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's frustrating, and
frustrating.
I know Burrell's got his priorities, but man, it really just doesn't. He could not see the forest for the trees at all.
He cannot. How did he get into this position of leadership?
Excellent question.
All right. Well, Omar's heading to New York via bus. We're outside the bus station with Omar and McNulty. And yeah, he knew that the money offer was a farce, and he kind of explains that to McNulty, like I knew as soon as they were okay with that that they did not want a truce.
Yep.
And he says, I'm going to go to New York and see what it's like out there and see what opportunities there are. And he says, can you give me some little cash, tide me over? I mean, I could get some around the corner probably by sticking somebody up, but but I thought maybe we do this right.
Yeah.
And, McNulty sees him off, says, hey, you got to just be there for the Gant trial and best to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And there's not much to it otherwise, but I guess did you pick up on what Omar's play was? Because we know now. Oh, so you didn't. Okay.
No,
I didn't either. I was like, now I understand. And that's when it actually all kind of, it all figured out. It's like when they're talking parlay at the very beginning of the episode, it's more of how do we set up a trap.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So, yep. And so we say goodbye to Omar.
Yeah. I love the parlay.
Yeah.
I should use that more often. I feel like they only use it in pirate speak.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
Parlay.
Yeah.
All right.
And this came out before then.
Before the
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. Pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Back to the dungeon.
All right.
Let's see. We've got the plan now with Orlando.
Yep.
Okay. They're going to give Orlando $30,000 from the DEA to buy drugs from Savino. All right. Kima's going to pretend to be his girlfriend. And as Carver says, she's looking the part.
Yep.
She got her hair all done. She's wearing a cute little pink top, tight jeans, got her makeup on. She's looking very un-Kima-like at this point.
Yep. She did up her hair too, right? Her hair is nice and wavy.
Yes, it is. Her hair.
Can you just explain to a uninformed man such as myself,
Yeah.
what is the process for doing that?
I don't know, because she has combination hair. I think she is Asian and black, so she's got afro. She's got my level thick dark hair, but then she also has the afro curl. So I grew up with my friend Deanna. She was half black and half Korean, and that hair, I mean, that took a lot of work to tame that baby. So I'm sure she had to do a lot of kind of condition, oil, and she looked good.
All right. She did look good. The hair did look nice.
Yes.
I have to give her credit for that.
Looks beautiful.
Okay.
So the car's going to be wild. Or sorry, not wild.
Wild.
It's going to be wired.
Yep.
Wild. Because it's Omar's car. I mean, it's Orlando's. I can't talk.
It's cool. It's cool. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. It's no
All
problem.
right.
No
We're
problem.
almost at
I
the
threw you off
end.
with the hair question. It's the whole thing. So
It's
no
okay.
problem.
Okay. The car.
Plus, this is emotional. So
This is emotional. I think I'm starting to feel it. The car will be wired. Kima is going to give them tips. 20s, they call it.
Yep.
The 1020s location about where they are. Yeah, I had to look up what all the 10s are. And, they want, so why will this work? Why won't they think that Orlando is snitching? Well, because he needs money for the bondsman and for the lawyer. So, this is kind of explained through Sidner for us to make sure that we fully understand as the audience members what is going on
this
here.
plan isn't totally fakakta.
Yes, exactly. There's a reason. And Perlman explains a buy from Savino's great, but if you can get somehow Avon or Stringer in the mix, that would be a lot better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got it all. Yeah, it is. It's just so it's just very frustrating because they lay out before.
I know.
Just they're not going to be in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Why?
Yeah. Great, you get Savino,
but he's a small player.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway,
I know.
yeah, then now it's all set up and now we're off and running. There's one moment which I just think is hilarious. The DEA guy, I don't even think we get his name.
Yeah.
He's like, so Daniels is laying out the plan and he says, here's the thing, we can't have this money walking off. And the guy goes, definitely not.
Definitely not.
And Daniels just Reddick does this move. He just does this little turn of his head. Like, would you, in just that moment, he's like, would you shut up?
Yeah.
Like, we got it.
Yeah.
You don't have to but it's just so subtle.
Yeah, it's same with Kima too. He's like, that's my career there. She's
Right.
like, okay.
Right, exactly. So
I don't think he's going to get your killer cameo, Chris.
No, definitely not. I mean, I'll say here that there are times when there are people that annoy the hell out of me, and I need to remember to give them credit because
they
annoy me. Like the guy's doing a good job.
He did his job as far as what he was supposed to do.
But you're right. He's not getting my killer cameo.
No,
so,
okay.
I need some range from
exactly. A little bit more than just annoying.
Yeah.
We are going to go back to Bubs back at the park, and he is looking uncertain in the park. It's nighttime now, and he kind of walks. So, death row here. That guy that walks by, he's saying death row here, death row here, and says it to him, like asking him, and he says ain't up.
Yeah.
What?
So death row is the name of the package. The name of the I forget what I'm forgetting when they did the tester line.
Okay.
They use a name and Sterling says shit is the bomb, and so, or maybe they were calling it W&D. No, I forget what it was. Anyway, but the point is that every package has a different name, and so when he says death row,
that's the name of the package.
Yeah, that's the name of the package, and then so ain't up means I'm not interested in buying.
Got it. Okay.
Right. So
thank you. I mean, I assumed that's kind of what it was, but I was very confused.
Yeah,
by that exchange.
I want to say when you first hear it when Poot asks the guy in the last episode what you got, and the guy says family affair 2 for 1 or something like that, and he says you up to Poot, and he's like, and Poot's like nah. So I kind of think like ain't up means I'm not in the market.
Not game
so,
for that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right, here we go.
Yeah, but of course, but obviously contrast that way back to the beginning, or to the first time we see about. It was the very beginning of the episode, where it's sunny and it's there's he's looking at all this happiness, and now it's dark.
Yeah, it
and it's just
really
temptation
is.
everywhere. Yeah,
yes.
so
oh man, it is a tough one.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we're going on to the last scene here. Whew.
Yep, here we go. Let's do it.
Deep breath.
Just rip off the Band-Aid, Ellie.
Orlando and Kima. Pick up Savino. Kima gets out of the front seat.
That son of a bitch.
She goes the back seat, and he's like, "Oh yeah, half the money is hers, my girl." And as they're going, Kima kind of nonchalantly gives a first clue as to which way they're going. Get some cigarettes if we're going to go this way. And Savino instantly turns up the radio really loud, and it's too loud for them to hear anything that's being said over the wire. And so now none of the others that are out there know where Kima and Orlando are.
Yep.
And, we're kind of with them for a little while, and then they pull up to some really shady looking alley or whatever.
Yep.
And Savino steps out to go. He looks at the money, and then he steps out like he's going to go get the drugs or whatever. And Kima starts talking. She's trying to guess where they are, and she's not sure. She's like, I thought I saw this sign, but I could swear that it was this instead. And he's like, Orlando says, they change up the signs to fool you guys.
Yep.
And so she makes a guess as to where they might be. She says they're in North Side near Warwick. And, so they're trying to get over to where Kima believes them to be.
Yeah.
And then Kima sees like the shadow of somebody kind of sneaking by the building, and she says something ain't right.
Yep.
And then gunshots.
Yep.
And that's all we hear, the gunshots.
Right.
We don't even see it. And you hear her trying to give more information.
Yep.
More shots, and the guys are trying to find her. They're driving all over there. You can tell there's like panic. It's just the tenseness, its intensity is increasing.
Yep.
It's just like minutes going by where they cannot find her. It feels like, I'm sure it's not even minutes, but it just feels like it's taking forever.
Yeah.
And then they have to enlist a helicopter to help them now. And they, tell the helicopter. Sorry. I'm feeling very
I know,
emotional.
right?
I can't even talk. Okay.
You got this. You got it.
They tell the helicopter what to look for. And finally, we see Orlando's shot up car. We see Orlando. He is covered in blood. And then McNulty runs up and he pulls out Kima. And she has clearly been shot multiple times. She has a limp noodle and just blood all over her. And just the reaction of everybody else.
But this part of town,
What's that?
What?
Something ain't right. Shit ain't right. Signal 13! Signal 13!
Gunshots.
Gunshots. Show citywide. 11:35. 11:35. Signal 13 Warwick near Longwood. Officer down.
2 males, black hoodie, both of them. One is...
Signal 13 Warwick near Longwood. In the alleys. Check the alleys. Check the alleys.
North side, 2800 block. Nothing.
We got an officer down. She's a number 1 female undercover. 8833. We're inside on 3100 block of Baker. Clear.
2900 is dark.
1171. Does anyone have a visual? Does anyone have a visual?
Foxtrot.
What are we looking for?
1135 to KGA. We can't find the officer down. We need Foxtrot. Looking for a green Lincoln Town car with a brown vinyl roof. It's parked in those alleys.
Foxtrot en route. 3814.
3814. There's a signal 13.
7820. Rear on side. 3300 block of Baker. Clear. Visual. Rear even side of Warwick and Longwood.
I mean, Carver is just losing his mind. He's
Yep.
kicking things and screaming, and Sidner is like in shock. He's got his mouth covered, and he just like he cannot believe it.
Yeah.
Daniels is that the helicopter's overhead. It's so loud. It's crazy. Daniels screaming into the radio, and the last thing we hear is the operator's voice, basically.
Yep.
That's a 1047, which means to complete the assignment quickly. And that's it.
Yep.
And then I text Chris, and I'm like, OMG, did Kima just die?
It's I you know what's funny is
Put my notes down.
yeah I will share this. So I rewatched it today, and I actually teared up a little bit.
Oh,
I was like,
I was just so affected by that,
Yeah.
Chris. I was just, I mean, like if we go back and listen to our first episode, I'm just gushing over Kima
Yeah.
and what a cool character she is and how much I like her. And, except for the one time when she beat the guy down, beat Bodhi.
Right.
Okay, that time I did like her, but otherwise it's like, she's so unique and so cool. And I just love a badass
Yep.
female. And then it's just like so disappointed that they took her out.
Yep.
Like, I'm mad at the writers for taking her out. I'm, just
I
like
hear you.
it.
I hear you.
Don't
And
like it
yeah. And it's especially tough because in her last moments,
Yeah.
she demonstrates this instinct and this ability.
Yes.
And so she is
She's
like a
good
cop
police.
till the end. Right, exactly.
She's what
so
they call good police.
yeah. And so, I will just mention this now, even though of course it's hardly matters, but sorry, two things. So once again, no music. You are watching this and you are on the edge of your seat.
Yes.
And it is all because of camera shots and dialogue and
yes.
people and whatever else, and the way they set all that up. But I mean, not to be whatever, but like there's a scene of Daniel's car coming out of an alley, and they cut off a car trying to go in, and they had to set up that shot. The way they must have envisioned this whole chase to come out. There's just so much like tension. I also really like that they didn't show the shooting.
Right.
They could have gone super violent,
Yes.
whatever, but you had to hear it, and
You
it's all
hear it,
you're
and-
imagining.
Exactly. And you are hoping too, like, okay, it's just because you hear
Right.
shots doesn't mean Kima didn't get a hold of
Right.
it. They even make a point of like, where's the gun going to be? Well,
Right.
it might pat me down. And so I had to put the gun here. And
Yep.
they'll be under the seat. And so you kind of hope, like, did she get a hold of it? Did
Right.
she shoot them back?
Right. So, and then I don't know why, but so McNulty is kind of panicking,
Yeah.
right? And he's sorry, before I forget, in the scene where in the unit with the DEA guy and all that, and they're about to walk out, they hold the camera on McNulty there, and you can see he's got some reservations, or his face is revealing his feelings behind it. So if you go back and watch that scene, like he's really like, you just take a look at
There's
his
some
face.
lack of confidence in his
Exactly.
face.
Yeah. And so he's panicked. He's like, check the alleys. And Daniels has the presence of mind to yell out Foxtrot, which of course, like, I just love that he did that. And like that then of course gets them to find the place
Right.
that they need to find. So, and of course, watching it, you get to watch through Foxtrot, the helicopter, and
that
be able to
black
kind
and
of see that
white,
go through, which is pretty neat. And then of course,
yeah.
like the spotlight goes along the street, and that's
Yep.
how they find it. And
Yep.
yeah, the way that scene is done is it's
God.
fantastic.
Yeah,
and so
it is.
of course it sucks.
I know.
Kima's,
It is super intense. I mean, I was just like ramped up. I was edging my seat to the very end there. So they definitely accomplished what they set out to accomplish.
Yeah. So yeah, and what else can you say really about that? I thought I had one more note about it, but forget it. No, so I feel like I almost want to just stop. We should just end the episode right now so that you can go on to like watching the next episode.
I need to see how they mourn my poor Kima.
Yeah, I did.
Pour one out for her.
Yeah,
Pour one out, everybody.
Just for you, the viewer, I did mention to Ellie, like I was like, should I have warned her? Should we have do like just now keep watching to see what happens next? No, we gotta do it all one. Now we gotta do episode by episode because that's how it was in the past. So. Okay, well, why don't we leave it there?
We should have made maybe I need to make a video of me watching every episode so we have my actual reaction.
That's a good idea. we should do that. So, but yeah, just because this whatever happens here, they're gonna follow it up. So it'll be interesting to see how you react to the next thing.
What's interesting too is like I feel like Game of Thrones gets so much credit for the no one is sacred sort of thing, but no, man, this is way long ago. And
exactly.
I would have thought Kima was untouchable.
Right.
From the get-go.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's see. Did I have... Oh, so... Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that... I was just looking back at our predictions. You covered pretty much everything. I think that... Just a couple of notes. You said Bubbles would not be rock bottom enough.
Yeah.
Which, interesting, because it seems like he feels like he's rebounding, or he's trying to.
Feels like he's on it, but I don't know. Now that Kima has died, like, and he doesn't have her as a safety net, I feel like now we got a new rock bottom for Bubs.
Okay,
he's gonna be looking to get rid of his his heavy heart.
Okay, all right, good to know.
Yeah.
I'm putting that down as a prediction.
Okay.
And then the other one was Omar. I think you had Omar like coming back and regrouping, but now he's getting out of town.
Fight thou.
Yeah, but again, like I think the interesting thing about that is, kind of if you follow like your standard show, you've got these two people like going after each other, and one of them's going to end up on top.
Yeah.
So for Omar to just bounce is kind of unusual at the time, right?
Yeah.
Because the typical conflict ends in some kind of resolution.
Agreed.
As opposed to this. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we won't take too much longer because I want to let you get on to watching. So I did killer cameos. I had two candidates.
Okay.
But I think now I was going to say, so Nico Parham plays Troy Wiggins. I like the way that Troy Wiggins, I like that character. He's fun. But I like this family court judge, but I'm thinking that you don't because you didn't like her. Okay, you didn't like her. Okay, so Nico Parham, you get it. But I will just say, the family court judge, her nails are fantastic, and I love her nails. So good job, good stuff.
Yes.
And we also mentioned George Watson playing Marvin Browning. So, and of course that is a callback to episode 4 when Marvin Browning goes into he takes the years and now he's going to tell.
Yeah.
The last one. What were we talking about last time where I was like super uncomfortable?
We were talking about Poot's phone call.
Oh, right. Yes, thank you.
Glazed donut.
Yeah.
It's so terrible.
So uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. But so I said, but it made me laugh because I'm like, is Prop Joe's comment to Stringer the life lesson? Is that the life lesson? I will say,
I hope not.
I'll just say, men. Bring flowers home every once in a while. I'm not going to advise women on how to be a good wife, but so the other one is like just don't be trifling, right?
Trifling.
Keep your shit together.
Yes.
Don't even if you're going to eat junk food all day or whatever, like don't be a slob. Come on, especially when other people have to
be professional.
And actually, Ellie and I were talking about this. We were talking about our kids, and like if you're in a shared space, do your best to keep that clean.
Be tight.
Like just because if nothing else, like who doesn't want to be known as someone who like keeps their shit clean, right?
Yes.
Like, oh man, that guy's a
Yes.
slob. Nobody wants me known as a slob.
Nobody
So,
wants
you know, now Carver's he's got the stink of, but
Yes.
literally and figuratively of being a
Yes.
slob. So that was my life lesson. So, okay. So we covered all the music. You talked about Bubbles. Any other predictions you want to throw out? I mean, you're emotional, so, you know,
man.
dig deep if you can. But if you don't have anything else.
I mean, next episode, everybody's going to be more in like hardcore,
Mhm,
right? And
mhm.
I think they're going to be just like even more, we're going to nail this guy's ass.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know, Chris.
Okay. No, actually,
I don't know.
That's fine. I mean, you have two, and that's. I mean, of course, that's going to be the focus of the episode. The response from the police is going to be the focus of the episode.
Yeah.
Anything else is almost like irrelevant. And Omar's already out,
Right.
And
Wallace
so,
is at his grandmama's
and Wallace is at his grandma's house.
Yeah.
So really, and you have Bubbles. So
You got Bubbles.
Yep. So I think those are two perfectly fine
Okay.
predictions, and yeah. So we will be back next week,
Okay.
and next week's episode is called The Hunt. So, I mean, really, like, you kind of laid it out right there.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
all right. So I'm going to stop wasting Ellie's time because I know she wants to get on with watching the next episode, find
Do
what
I
happens next.
though? Oh, don't want to see everybody be sad for Kima.
Yeah. I mean, how are you going to keep watching the show? Omar's great and Sidnor's great. You got those two
I got
people.
those guys.
So, you know, if that, but you know, really, you're
We're
really
so
left with-
close to the end, though.
True.
I got to get my vengeance.
Okay.
You know, I got to see Avon pay for this shit.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
all right, well, there you go. All right, friends. So, Ellie, thank you as always. A great episode. Thank you for fighting through it. I know it was tough, but this was
For
fun.
put me through this shit, Chris.
Yeah. Hey, well, you know, you came to me about saying we should watch
I
it.
know.
So, you know.
I know. I said I was
But
game.
Okay, so we'll leave it there. Thank you, Ellie, as always.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, we will see you all next week.
Goodbye.
Bye. The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time.
All right. Y'all both here on my guarantee, so respect that shit and say what you feel. I'm up out of here.